Yes, this is Dwight Lilly from the Dwight Lilly's YouTube channel, The Rest of the Story. And I want you to look at the flag up here as they're blowing in the wind. And you can also notice periodically the leaves blowing in the trees. I'm reporting here right now from the Nye County, Nevada Commissioner Chambers here in Pahrump, Nevada. And what would normally be a beautiful blue sky, I hope the camera can pick it up, because you'll notice that there's a lot of haze up there. And the reason we're having this haze is because the wind blows in Pahrump. Now that is a normal occurrence when you live in a high desert area. But the issue with the wind and the particles in the air is what I'm down here all about. Today, in the Commissioner Chambers, there's going to be two meetings. One was this morning, and one is going to begin at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And what we're having here, folks, is meetings addressing the fact that Pahrump now once again exceeds the Federal Environmental Protection Agency clean air requirements, exceeds it in a way that is not good. It means that there is more pollution in the air here caused from particles than is allowed under federal law. This is an ongoing problem here in Pahrump, Nevada. We have some systemic problems. And again, we have the weather issues. The wind blows a lot in the fall and a lot in the spring here. And we have a population here in Pahrump made up of quite a few elderly citizens, myself included. And when you have a high level of particles in the air, heavy pollution in the air, it negatively impacts the health and basically the lifestyle, the quality of lifestyle that older people enjoy, and even babies and people that are ill. The reason I know about this is I happen to be one of those individuals that I'm speaking of. I'm retired. I'll be 72 years old my next birthday. I have a heart condition that I have to be medicated for, and I have breathing conditions. Now what happens to me when we have these pollution situations is that my body is unable to remove the pollutants as it would in a normal younger body. And so for example, right now on my right ankle, I have a rash that is broken out. This is the body's attempt through the skin to rid itself of toxins and pollutants. And it happens to be when we get these type of conditions here. Now, because of the pollution problems here in Pahrump, we've had to have in the past the state's NDEP, which is the Nevada Department of Environmental Protection, enter into the picture. And Pahrump actually has a dust ordinance that is designed to address, to mitigate, and in a sense prosecute violations of this EPO order. The alternative to this, if this fails, is that the Federal Environmental Protection Agency can step in out of their office in San Francisco, California, and they can put the hammer down here. Now, we've tried to stop the hammer from coming down in Pahrump by people adhering to these requirements, and the biggest problems that we have seem to be related to growth, construction, and I would have to say in recent months, up to last year or so, the increase in agricultural operations here in Pahrump that has put more particles in the air than what would have normally been in the air had there not been an uplift of agriculture. You don't have to drive very far to see the hemp fields that have been springing up all over. And one of the problems with the hemp fields springing up, or any agricultural operation, is those operating the machinery, the plows and the equipment out there in the fields, are not, in my opinion, properly taking care of the dust problem. I reported in recent months to the county the fact that as I was driving home one night, yes, it was nighttime, at Thousand Air Road and Homestead, a large field that had not been under cultivation for years was now under cultivation. It was windy out, and in fact there was plowing going on out in the field, raising a lot of dust. I've reported instances on Homestead Road, in particular at the VFW, when it was so fogged up from the dust in the air from road construction that you could literally hardly see to get out onto the roadway. Again, down on Mance Road, the same situation with road construction down there, and again, nothing being done to mitigate the dust as required under this clean air requirements here in Pahrump. Now, when you talk to the county about it, anything having to do with construction or enforcement of the codes, they have told me that, well, we only have one, maybe two code enforcement officers in the county. Okay, I can understand that. There's budget problems here, but what should be done to mitigate the situation if we cannot afford to have more code enforcement? I'll get into that a little later, but one of the things I want to do now is see about going into the meeting here and being able to interview people at the meeting having to do with this horrible dust conditions down here and pollution. And we'll see what the state has to say, because I understand they're going to be here, and people from the University of Nevada, again at this public workshop having to do with the violation of the Environmental Protection Agency's clean air standards for Pahrump. So this is Dwight Lilly. I'm going to sign off, and I'll be back on a little while later.
Right? And I even
Not money here, me and two other guys. That's it for the public
Unbelievable.
public attending the dust
you know, people think, oh, it's not me.
workshop here in Pahrump. I just wanted to scan this real quick,
We had
and this will all be included in the YouTube presentation.
It's been on 4 agendas. I had all.
Not our health, but young kids' health. I live right over here by Honeysuckle Park right here. I live on eastbound Charleston. I'm the second home off Pahrump Valley Boulevard right there, and my home faces north, but just back in my house is south, and I got 4 fields between my house and Terrible's Casino.
Okay.
So I'm looking right at Terrible's Casino, but I look at the park on my back porch, and I look over there at that park, and I know there's the land behind the park is privately owned by individually people. I've been told that, but the kids are using it to enter the back of the park. And this weekend they had the Funkin' Festival. I couldn't even see the park. all the dirt behind the park where all the kids were going in there, people were going in there and stuff. And it gets bad when the kids, young kids, I'm driving their little cars or pickups, and they go in there and they do donuts in the dirt and stuff and all that dust. And here you got people from Las Vegas up here with their children playing soccer and stuff, and for meets and stuff. And I bet when they leave, they're glad to leave here, because they got to be just nothing to covered with dirt, you know, and their kids are breathing this stuff. They're breathing it, and then the road right behind my house. There's no houses behind me, like I said, until the end of the road, way down I went down there, wrote the name down.
Enchanted Mesa?
Huh?
Did I hear you say Enchanted Mesa earlier?
Yes. And yes. And Tioga?
Ticonderoga?
Yeah. 1400 block right there. That's all. It's dirt road off of my street, which is eastbound Charleston. But the people, there's 6 homes down there on Mesa, and they're using that dirt road instead of turning and going to my street, eastbound Charleston, drive down to Page Street. They're driving down that dirt road, and it's on a windy. I mean, the day the wind blows toward my house, I can't even go outside. But it's pretty bad. I just can't, you know, it's in town, all them dirt streets. Now, they're starting to use all of them now. All 4 streets back there, kids are using them on quad runners. People are traveling, kids out of school. When they get out of school, they come down there with their cars and stuff, because it's faster going down the dirt road than it is coming down 35 miles an hour down eastbound Charleston.
Right.
They're doing 60 down the dirt road, you know. I mean, that dust, the elderly home for elderly folks.
Okay, now I'm out by my home. I'm about 5 blocks from here. And this is an example of the agricultural operations that are going on with the hemp. Now you can see a field right down here, and then you have an empty field right here, and then you have this new planted fields here, and I believe those are workers that live in those RVs right there, and that's a field of hemp. But you can notice the soil right over here all piled up, and it's blowing like crazy out here, and there's nothing to stop that pile of dirt from blowing up into the air. It's not going to get better here until it gets better. And I don't know what to think about it. I have to go pick my hat up over here because the wind just blew it off my head. This is the kind of wind we're having out here. Like I was saying, these conditions where you have agricultural operations picking up, you can see way back there, fields being developed that had not been developed into agriculture for decades here in Pahrump are now being cultivated with hemp, and this is adding to the dust control problem that we have here. And I want to close off this video today not on a tone of anger or pointing my fingers at anybody. What I want to do is educate people that we have dust control regulations. We live in a dusty part of the country. We have enforcement. I was at the meeting. There was only basically 2 members of the public. There was a third person that left before the meeting even started. We had Brett Wagner, our planning director. We had Tim Dahl, our road department director, and we had the lady from Pahrump that was the field inspector. Now you saw me visit a town's building site that was less than a half a mile basically away from where the meeting was taking place, and the home was being built. There was no dust control going on out there, and you saw the dust blowing. Here I am out here at an agricultural operation, and this is all new here, and I want to stress to the people watching this video that we're all in this game together here in Pahrump. We need to solve these type of problems for the quality of life that all of us deserve. And those of you that are not paying attention to this, I want you to think about this for a minute. What if it's your wife that comes down with a respiratory disease? Maybe you've lost a wife or a husband, a family member, prematurely because of air pollution in the Pahrump Valley here. You know statistically that people here have died prematurely from pollution problems. It's all over the world this way, but that doesn't mean we have to ignore the problem. We can have development, we can have progress, but it has to be done smart. So this is Dwight Lilly with the rest of the story, signing off here in Pahrump, Nevada.